Hi everyone, it's me, Lauren again, and I have a story to tell you guys. So today, I decided to take my two dogs outside so that they could run around the parking lot and, you know, run off some energy. And it felt really nice outside. The wind was blowing and it was really cool, so it worked out for all three of us. And I took my knitting stuff because I'm making a blanket. It's one of my new hobbies. Took it outside with me so that while they ran around, I could, do that. Well, they're running around for about, 10 minutes, and this truck pulls into the parking lot. And it's a white truck, and it's got three seats, like just the front row of seats, and has all these stickers on the truck. And to me, it resembles a work truck, maybe like a repair truck to come fix the air conditioner or just fix something in the building. So when he pulls in, I don't think anything of it. I just look up to see if I can see my dogs to make sure they don't run out in front of him or anything. Well, I can see him. He drives around the little circle and then stops right in front of me. And so he's facing this way, and he looks over at me, and he's pointing at something, and he mouthed something, but I'm not very good at reading lips, so I don't know what he said, so I just kind of looked at him like, what? And so he rolls down the window, and he says, do you need a ride somewhere? Excuse me? You don't look like a taxi driver. And second of all, I'm sitting on the curb with yarn. Like, no, I don't need to go anywhere. But I was nice, kinda, and I was like, no? And he just kind of looks at me, and I was like, I'm watching my two dogs. And he said, what? And I was like, I'm watching my two dogs. And he said, what, like 2 more times. And so by this time, I'm getting just annoyed. And I started yelling at him. I was like, no, I'm watching my 2 dogs. And he was like, oh, okay. And then drives off. And so he pulls out of the parking lot. And he drives up the road. And I see the truck, and I'm like, I'm kind of freaked out. Not seriously freaked out, but I'm really suspicious of people. Why did you stop and talk to me? You thought I needed a ride? Thanks, but no thanks. I'll call a taxi if I'm that desperate, and you sure don't look like a taxi. Nor do I know you. So just don't be nice to me. But anyways, so as he's driving off, I look up to see, make sure he's not going to pull back in or something. And I see him turn and look at me, and I was like, okay, we're going inside before anyone else decides to come and try to be nice to us. So I got this cool mug in Texas, and it's, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But I feel like it's a left-handed mug. Do they have left-handed mugs? Because I feel like this should be the front, but I'm totally right-handed, so you guys just get turtle butt in your face. But I drink my tea out of it. Anyways, so I'm not exactly sure why he decided to stop and ask if I needed to ride, but if he was going to jump out and try to kidnap me or something, I had my knitting needle, so I could have just stabbed him, but I don't know. Stuff like that happens to me a lot, actually. A lot whenever I lived in San Diego. About 3 years ago, I lived in San Diego, and it happened to me, I swear, every weekend there was a new story I had. But this happened to me here in Guam, I can remember one other time, but I feel like it's happened at least 2 other times. And I'm just like, am I an approachable person? Because I don't feel like I'm very approachable. People have told me that I'm not very approachable. Friends of mine have told me that I'm not approachable. They were scared to approach me when they first met me, which is kind of sad, but whatever. But no, I'm actually a nice person. I just don't know why you would ask me if I needed a ride. I don't know. It just seemed really weird to me. So we came inside and I gave them both a treat so that they would be quiet while I made this video. Otherwise, they'd be running around chasing each other and barking at each other. So right now they're content with their little candy cane snack that I bought them the other day from the store. But yeah, that's my story today. And I feel like I don't even have to leave the house for something to happen. Like apparently it'll happen right in my parking lot. So yeah, it is what it is, I guess. But another time that someone weird approached me was when I first got here to Guam. So about, I don't know, probably like 5-6 months ago, maybe a little bit. Maybe, I think it was probably around 5 to 6 months ago. So I was at the park I only had one dog at the time. So I took him to the park so he could run around and play, whatever. And like, whenever I would go somewhere with him, like people would always stop and say how cute he was because he was a little puppy and he's so pretty and his fur so nice and all this stuff. So men, women, and children would stop me and just have to talk to me about my dog. Well, one day when I went to the park with him, there was like, I think there were two men, and I was walking. What was I doing? I was walking, I think, no, I wasn't walking to the car. I was just walking around with him, like playing with him. And they stopped and they were like, oh, what kind of dog is he? What's his name? Where'd you get him? He's so pretty. And I was like, oh, his name's Baxter. He's a boy. He's, a Chihuahua mix. And I got him at the local shelter. And they were like, really? Like, they were so interested. Like, I mean, I love my dogs, but why are you so interested in my dog? Anyways, like I said, I'm so suspicious of people sometimes. Like, I just don't. I mean, I'm glad that people aren't just like rude to me on the street, but sometimes I just wonder, like, I always feel like people have ulterior motives, but maybe that's just me. So, anyways, so I was being nice and I was answering the questions about my dog, and they were like, "Oh, can I take a picture of him?" And I was like, they're like, "Oh, just to show, whoever they said." And I was like, "Well, I guess, sure." So I like, stepped away, and they were like, "Oh no, with you." What? No, you cannot take a picture of me. I don't even know you. I don't even know your name. You don't even know my name. No, you're not taking a picture of me. So, anyways, after that, I was like, okay, it's time for us to go. So then I started to walk away, after I was like polite and was like, okay, well, bye, I'm gonna go play with my dog. They were like, oh, okay, yeah, da da da. And then as I was leaving, they were like, oh, hey, we got some beers over in our cooler. Do you want one? No, I don't. Like, no thanks. Like, I'm sure some people would definitely take beer from a stranger, but no. One, I'm alone at this park. I'm new here. I don't know anything about anyone. I don't have a phone at the time, or, whatever, like, with me. So, no. And my dog's not going to do that. He was a little puppy. It's not like he could really protect me. He's more protective now, but not really. Sorry, my mouth's kind of dry, so I keep drinking my tea. So, no, that was like another incident, like, offer me a beer, random stranger, to some random person you don't know. And I don't even think you can drink at that park. Like, what is going on? And that park, now that I'm telling this story about that park, it reminds me of another time at the same park that I had another, like, run-in with someone, but not really. So there was another time, and I guess it was a little bit later that I took, same dog, because I only had one at the time, in the same park, and there was, it's kind of a big park. It's a big park. It's like connected. It's like right on the beach too, so you can go to the beach and then go play on the park or whatever. And it's like a lot of open area, so my dogs can run around, go crazy. And on certain days and certain times, there's like no one there, so it's perfect. So, there was like a little gazebo, like close to the road. Like we never go over that way. So there was like a gazebo, and there was like some guys over there, and they were whistling, and I was thinking to myself, like, are they whistling to try to get my dog to come over there? Because he doesn't like people other than, me? Or, like, what is he whistling at? And my dog didn't pay them any mind, but I was just like, why are they whistling? So I was kind of like nervous. I was like, come on, Baxter, just stay over here. So, anyways, there was this guy. What was he? I think it was kind of like, I guess it was like a motorcycle. I don't really remember, but he was like security, I guess, for the park or whatever. And he like comes up to me, and I thought he was gonna tell me to like put my dog on a leash. And he comes up to me and he was like, "Hey, are those guys bothering you?" And I was like, "No." And they were like, "Yeah, they're drinking, and I just, I went over there and told them they couldn't drink here, and I don't know, they're supposed to be leaving soon, and all this other stuff." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, thanks." And he was like, "Well, if you have any problems or whatever, just let me know." He was like, "Do you have our number?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Okay, just call this number." And he spat out a number. Actually, he spat out two numbers, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, if I have any problems, I'll try to remember that number you just spat out at me." But nothing ended up happening. We left shortly after that because I was just like, I don't want to have to deal with anything. Because it looked like they were not leaving, and they were still like whistling. So I don't know. My dog wasn't paying them any attention, so it didn't really bother me too much. But I was just like, might as well leave and just not have to deal with anything crazy because I know something would happen if I stayed too much longer. Like, it would happen. So, yeah. All I had was a pair of keys that time, so I guess I could key them in the eye or something, like put it in between your fingers, the keys, stab them. I heard that works. I don't know. Never tried it. But, yeah. So, I don't know. Those are my stories. I don't think anything else has happened involving people other than those stories that I remember of. But if I do, I'll be sure to tell you. Be sure to tell you guys. Until next time, like my shit, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.